Welcome back! My name's Jack, the snack that smiles back. If you're here, you're joining me to find out who is the a-holes today. But enough dibbler-dabbler, let's get started on the stories. Am I the a-hole for being upset that he won't accept social media friend requests? I don't need to see or follow his social media accounts. I have better things to do with my time. However, it hurt my feelings when after 4 months of dating, he didn't accept my Instagram request or my Facebook request. The final straw was tonight. We were trying to sort out a collaborative Spotify playlist. He said he refuses to follow my Spotify account. This is when I looked into his lists. He is following my best friend on Spotify, Instagram, and Facebook. I told him it hurt my feelings. He said I was emotional and crazy. I feel crazy for being upset, but it isn't just one thing. It's the accumulation of it. Am I the a-hole for being really hurt and angry over this? P.S. We have been seeing each other for 8 months. Don't really know how to approach this, as I feel like there needs to be some more info exactly between this relationship. Did he even, or did she even allow him to explain why he doesn't do this? The social media requests are a bit weird, as all he has to do is click confirm. But the Spotify playlist thing does make sense. I mean, he doesn't really need to follow her Spotify playlists. Honestly, I feel like this is the same degree of pettiness as the guy who was getting upset his partner wouldn't shave. If not a bit more. I think it really depends on the level of intimacy in this relationship for us to determine whether or not this guy's being shady or is just a really reclusive person. But even then, 8 months into the relationship and he's following her best friend's social media but not hers? I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it really seems like this guy isn't exactly, committing to you. Or at least not planning to. If anything, this might be a typical placeholder relationship. And your friend is quite possibly next on the list. Not the a-hole. Girl, get out of there and never look back. He's not following you because he's keeping his options open, or he's hiding something and wants to appear single. It seems super shady to me. Why wouldn't you follow your girlfriend? Can't think of a good reason. I can think of some bad ones, but nothing that is actually innocent. Not the a-hole. Sounds fishy, like maybe he's hiding something on his socials or seeing someone else. Most couples add each other on social media right away if they weren't already friends. Not the a-hole. Seems like a weird hill for him to die on with you. Sadly, your only options are to either move on from this guy or accept that this will be something you can't agree on and move forward anyways. Not the a-hole. You seem to be on the right side of normal. Not forcing him to show you all his browser history and give you his password, but he's also keeping you out of parts of his digital life that he, apparently, has no real blocks on for anybody else. I mean, I don't think social media is vital to a relationship, but there's some odd behavior here. Following your close friend, but not allowing you access to his social media is a bit sketchy. Calling you crazy, though, is just red flag behavior. You haven't been in a relationship long at all. I think it's a good idea to end this one. It's not healthy to have a partner who demeans you and invalidates your feelings. Even if they don't think you're right, a respectful or healthy partner will listen and talk things out instead of resorting to gaslighting. I think if anything, she should get her best friend to show her his social media. That could at least answer some questions about whether or not he's doing some shady stuff behind her back. I'd also question how trustworthy her friend is if she's willingly accepted on his social media. Surely she's approached her about this as well and is taking her side. That, or she'll take part in the gaslighting. I'd keep an equal eye on your friend. Unless you're certain she isn't someone who would do that. Am I the a-hole for locking my son out of his Xbox? Some background info. I, 57 male, and my ex-wife, we will call Lisa, 49 female, have 2 kids. One we will call Jane, 21 female, and the other Max, 16 male. Also sorry about formatting or grammar, I'm on mobile. Anyways, the regular schedule for Max is that he gets 4 days a month with Lisa, while I get the other 26. But recently, he has been spending 2 weeks at Lisa's house and 2 weeks at my house. I'm not happy with this since I'm supposed to have 26 days a month, but I put that aside. Another thing is that Max loves video games. He only has one friend in real life and they can't hang out in person due to COVID-19, so instead, he plays with his friends online. He calls his online friends his best friends, but I told him that he needs to have real friends and not spend so much time online. I have set a strict limit of 4 hours total screen time for him. That includes everything from gaming to quickly looking something up. This is incredibly generous, as doctors say only 1 hour online per day. Anyway, recently he was over at Lisa's house where he doesn't have his friend, and he told me that he wanted to stay for 1 more day. This made me very upset, but I said okay, because I knew I could punish him for it. Since he created his first Xbox account when he was 8, the email is in my email, even though he pays for the subscription, and since the email is mine, it's my account, and I have control over it. So I changed the password and locked him out. He has called me 32 times, but I'm not going to answer so that I can teach him a lesson. Lisa and Jane have texted me saying that what I'm doing is wrong and mean, and that Max doesn't have anything to do, and that he is having a mental breakdown since he is cut off from all his friends. But mental breakdowns don't come that easily. Anyway, am I the a-hole? Did Max himself type this up to pretend to be you? Because goodness, you are the a-hole. I can honestly see why he wants to spend more time at his mother's than yours. I like that you think he needs to have real friends than online friends, but you also note the fact that he can't hang out with his one real-life friend due to the current issues going around the world. Like you're trying to enforce this thing onto him that he can't literally do. Also, doctors say only 1 hour online per day. Yeah, tell that to any business with office workers, buddy. Likely you missed the point where they mention 1 hour per day between breaks. And then there's the fact you punish him for wanting to stay with his mum by banning him from his Xbox account. Like, dude, you're not trying to teach him a lesson. You just want to get revenge for feeling hurt and distanced from your son. You can't be a good parent if this is how you react to a child feeling disconnected from you. But hey, I like video games. Maybe I'm being biased. Let's see what others say. You're the a-hole. You're punishing a kid just because he wants to spend time with his mum. You said it made you mad that he wanted to stay there another day. You are reacting emotionally, and the punishment does not fit the crime. If he had done something with the Xbox that you had expressly asked him not to do, then locking him out would make sense, and it would be used as a tool to teach a lesson. The only lesson you're trying to teach in this specific situation is you hurt my feelings, and my feelings are all that matter, so I'm going to use the tiny bit of control I have to punish you in order to prove my point and make myself feel better. Edit. To add this, there's a global pandemic going on right now, so most interactions are limited to being online or on screen. Kids can't just go outside and play with their friends like we used to. You kind of have to take what you can get with regards to social interactions and pastime activities. You're denying your son access to his only option for social interaction with his friends for entirely selfish reasons. Your pettiness is going to backfire and make him want to spend even less time with you. If the kid wants to spend as little time as possible in your home, it's probably because you're the a-hole. Let's go down the list. A. You're cutting him off from the only form of social interaction he can have. Online friends are real friends, especially when we're all stuck indoors and can't meet in person. B. You invented a completely arbitrary rule for no good reason and then punished him for breaking it. C. You're deliberately taking away something that he pays for. D. You're neglecting his health because you don't believe mental breakdowns are a real thing. You sound like a thoroughly unpleasant person with no empathy for your son's struggles. No wonder he wants to spend more time at his mother's house. My own father wasn't much different, and now he wonders why I don't talk to him anymore. It's fair to say that everyone's in a mutual agreement towards this guy. So then, how could he repair this? What do you think's the best way to resolve his a-holery? Let me know in the comments. I do read them. Boo! Hello, just noticing you're quite a bit into the video. If you're this far, that means you're enjoying yourself, or you've just forgotten to click off. Don't click off! If you could perhaps like this video or subscribe, that would be mwah. And I will mwah your face if I ever see you. That is not legally binding. Anyway, as you were. Am I the a-hole for sending back all her letters? I started to talk to a girl a lot on MySpace, and then it went from that to texting and talking on the phone. She was about 15, I was about 17. I'm 33 now. She started going into jail for things I won't go deeply into, maybe 6 years after we had been talking. Every time we wrote back and forth a lot. I had probably 200 pages back and forth of letters from her. In between one of these stints, I went and visited her and her mum, so I knew I wasn't being catfished. I knew she was recovering from drug problems at the time. We started talking before she started using, so I didn't meet some junkie from the start. I used to get sick a lot when I was younger. I'd end up in hospital and she'd call me and see if I'm okay. And to this day, no one ever just calls to see how I'm doing like that, which would mean the world, cause lately I'm a freaking mess. The first 3 days I visited were great. We went to the Red Rocks, had a nice dinner and a few drinks. I gave her a massage and we fell asleep together. But the rest of the week was disastrous as a result of the things related to her drug use. I left somehow feeling like the a-hole. Up to this point, I was extremely attracted to her, but never thought of her as anything more than a friend. We live 1,000, I assume miles or kilometers, apart. It'd be crazy to, with that among everything else, to even consider a relationship. Then later, when we are writing again, she's in jail and I'm not an a-hole who is going to cut off someone with minimal lifelines. She starts to get flirty and sweet in her letters, then telling me I'm her soulmate. And she thinks maybe we've both gone through so much stuff cause we are meant to be together. There's more, but let's just fast forward to now. She's been clean for a few years. The way she responds to my texts, it's like I'm someone who got her number by mistake that she didn't want to have. I'm constantly ignored. I do not send her multiple texts at a time or blow her up, nor do anything weird or stalkerish like that. It's like maybe one text every 1 or 2 weeks. A couple times I have responded in anger after she ignores them all, and it is the only time she responds and she says she's sorry, but she hardly talks or texts anyone anymore. I never wanted to believe this girl loved me, but I did. Now I feel stupid and used. She's okay. I'm happy about that, but she washed her hands of me too. Am I the a-hole for sending back her letters? Am I the a-hole for caring this much about a girl who I only met once, even though we've been talking closely for over 15 years? I don't know how you can be an a-hole for having feelings towards someone. Sounds like you want to express the feeling of being hurt rather than actually asking if you're an a-hole. Also, don't know why you'd want to send back her letters. Feels like you're just putting in extra effort to express your feelings towards someone, when they've clearly shown that they don't feel for you anymore. I get maybe it's an expression of attention so she realizes that you've been hurt. Not the smartest tactic for your health. Remember that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Clearly, her intimate attachment to you was because of being in jail. She likely had no meaningful connection like yours. And now that she's back out in the real world, and especially considering you're both far apart from each other, she's moved on. Or simply realized that she isn't actually into you. She was just into the idea of being with someone in her darkest moments. I do think she is a bit of an a-hole to be purposely ignoring your texts, but you also need to realize that she just doesn't feel for you anymore. And considering you admit that you only see her as a friend, I have to wonder, are you upset that she doesn't love you anymore? Or that she's no longer giving you that affectionate attention? Something to think about. No a-holes here. Sending the letters back feels like a passive-aggressive move from the Victorian era. Just toss them and move on. Yeah, you would kind of be the a-hole for sending back the letters. Look, people grow apart, and while you were there for her at some bad time, you may also remind her of those bad times. You weren't stupid. You weren't used. It's just how friendships go sometimes. My recommendation? Throw the letters in a shoebox. Ramp down your contact with this person. Let her reach out to you once or twice. Dig into the shoebox when you want a trip down memory lane. Let yourself mourn this relationship. It's okay. And consider seeing a therapist if you're taking this really hard. Just throw the letters away. It's not worth your time. Nor is she worth the effort to send them to her. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for feeling needy while my boyfriend's mom has cancer? Hi. I don't know where to go, but I feel like getting an objective perspective about my situation would be extremely helpful. So, I've been with my boyfriend for 8 months, and he knows I'm a generally needy and anxious person. Recently, his mum was diagnosed with endometrial cancer and he's been having a really hard time. It's a tough situation because while I constantly reiterate my support for him, I still feel bad because I've never had a family member be diagnosed with a terminal illness. I don't know what it's like at all, so my anxiety keeps telling me that I'm saying the wrong thing all the time. So I told him that I understand completely if he doesn't have enough time to talk to me since he has to take care of his mum and talk to her as much as possible. But here's where the dilemma hits. My anxiety wants to convince me that he secretly is losing interest in me but won't tell me. I don't see my boyfriend that often in general because of our busy schedules. We mainly communicate via text, and sometimes I'll just notice that he'll sound uninterested in what I'm saying. Or I'll try to talk to him about what I'm feeling, but I feel guilty because he's obviously going through something objectively harder. My anxious brain kicks in and tells me that he's just not as into me as he was before. I try really hard to rationalize my thoughts as he is going through something I can't even fathom. A part of me feels like some reassurance would be nice from him, just to let me know that my anxiety is being stupid, but at the same time I know it's not really his responsibility. Am I the a-hole here? Am I being selfish? One thing I'll always say with mental health: being self-aware of your issues doesn't exactly equate to excusing them, if you're not actually working on them. Of course, that can be a bit exhausting over time on yourself, but so can be dealing with everyone else's on top of yours. That said, I feel like this person is doing a pretty good job at tackling it as much as she can. She's at least aware of when her anxiety is kicking in. But I also think this is a very unique situation. As unfortunate your anxiety is to be dealing with, your boyfriend's mother has to take priority. Sure, you're dealing with negative thoughts, but he's dealing with his mother dying. I think you would be the a-hole to demand some more attention. I think you need to apply some more trust with your partner, understanding that your theories of him no longer having interest in you are purely theories and can easily be debunked due to the fact that he's dealing with his mother dying. You're afraid of heartbreak? He's dealing with it right now. I respect that you are aware of your neediness, but at this point in your relationship and what he's dealing with, you need to do more than just be aware. It's about time you actively resolve this problematic behavior. Besides, once his mother does unfortunately pass away, he's gonna be needing you far more than you've ever needed him. Let's look at comments. Yata and you're selfish. His mother is dying. She's not sick or injured. She's dying, and there's no coming back from that. So of course he will be distant, because he's got better stuff to deal with than your neediness. Nata, your anxiety is getting better of you in a situation that's hard for everyone involved. Objectively, you know this, but in the moment, it's hard to tell when our stupid brains get in the way. I get this way too. The best you can do is remember and remind yourself that he still cares about you, but he has no capacity to show it right now. All of his attention is on his mum, as it should be. Just be there for him. Sit. Listen. Let him talk. And if you haven't already, try to find some techniques to handle the brain weasels that make you needy and anxious. Books, a therapist, maybe even some YouTube videos. Nah, it sounds like there is a lot on the table right now between your schedules and your boyfriend's mum. It also sounds like you're handling it about as good as you possibly could. There's nothing wrong with feeling the need for reassurance, and despite what your anxiety may tell you, I don't think your boyfriend is losing interest. He's just got a lot on his plate. When you feel like he is disinterested, he may just be tired, or lost in thought about his mum. Best thing you can do is talk to him. Let him know you're there for him. Ask him how he's feeling. Tell him how you're feeling and go from there. Good luck, OP. Sorry to hear about your boyfriend's mum. Would I be the a-hole if I called out my mum for texting and driving? I am a 13 male. Mum is a 39 female. So my mum has been texting and driving for a while, and it gets on my nerves, which started around at 11 when we hit an elk in a car. car got totaled while she was texting. Luckily, it didn't roll on top of us. A year later, we hit a deer while carrying a U-Haul and Mum was texting, van got totaled. When she's texting, we also turn a little bit on the wrong lane, but she figures that out quickly. Oh well, thank goodness for that. However, she has 3 jobs and 3 houses and a boyfriend. Most of the time, she's texting her boyfriend because he won't leave her alone, and if she doesn't respond, he'll criticize her for it and other stuff. He once made her choose between me and my brothers or him. They broke up after that, then got back together with him pleading for forgiveness. And he cheated on her once and he did the same thing. All of the jobs are teaching jobs, and the new job is Executive Director of Indigenous Studies. And she's got to enroll us in school. She is under a lot of pressure, and I don't want to stress her more, but I don't want to get stranded again. So would I be the a-hole if I call her out for it? So what does your mum value more? Her boyfriend getting upset that she took more than 20 minutes to reply? Or something not as crazy, your life. Seems to me all those plates that she's trying to spin doesn't excuse her behavior with texting and driving. I mean, I can call her out for it, but let's be honest. Who of us here hasn't done it at least once? For legal reasons, that is a joke. Especially since she's totaled vehicles 2 times, clearly due to her own negligence with driving and texting. I believe you have every right to bring this up to her. You are totally right to call her out. No a-holes here. I can't be any more delicate than this. Your mother is not smart. Not the a-hole. I've seen this situation before in this sub. It's caused a lot of conflict before, and I think you should definitely bring it up. Here's some advice for how you should bring it up from what I've seen worked on other posts. I think when you bring it up, you should be calm, and you should both be at home and in a good mood to talk about it. Broach the subject lightly, and acknowledge that you can't drive, but you're only concerned for her safety because of what happened the last 2 times. As long as you approach the situation correctly, I wish you the best, and hope your mum stops texting. It's lucky that you all survived the past 2 accidents. Not the a-hole. I've been hit by people texting and driving while I've been walking as a pedestrian. I was really lucky not to have major injuries or worse. This isn't about not stressing your mum out. This is about the real safety concern of her doing this. She could kill herself, you or someone on the road. It needs to stop. Talk to your mother. Explain your concerns. You're young, but be firm. I've been in a car accident resulting in major injuries. It is a terrible experience. Spinal compression fractures, broken ribs, whiplash, concussion, contusions, and a lacerated liver, ICU, body brace, and months of physical therapy. Car accidents happen, but ones caused by texting can be prevented so easily. Exactly this. Not the a-hole. It's well known that texting and driving is dangerous, and it's illegal in a lot of places. Would she drink and drive with you in the car? You don't need to come at her with accusations, but you should sit her down and calmly tell her that her texting while driving worries you, that you're afraid of getting in another accident that will end with one or both of you dead. Try to be as calm as possible, but explain your worries to her, and hopefully it will all click in her head and she'll stop the behavior. I mean, heck, you could offer the idea that you can be the one to text for her, assuming the conversations in the texts aren't too intimate. Am I the a-hole for letting an old lady believe a lie she told herself? Well, I'm entrepreneur retail arbitrage, aka a reseller. I go to thrift stores to buy merchandise to resell for profit online. So I have this wonderful store that has good prices and merchandise for resale. It's run by a charitable organization and the workers are volunteers. When I started my online business, I came here and bought lots of items. I would normally buy lots of items, buying 20 shirts, 15 pants, handful of toys, and other things, which was normal. So, there was a volunteer that thought I was gifting these items. See, I would buy men's, women's, and kids' clothes. She says how generous I must be, asks, how do I get on your Christmas list? I never said anything, but smiled, letting her think what she wanted. One day, an old friend saw me and wanted to catch up on my life. I proudly told her what I do, reselling items online. I'm not ashamed. Well, the head volunteer heard what I said, and she has hated me since. So, am I the a-hole for letting her believe a lie she told herself? I know they get their items for free and resell for profit, so I don't feel bad. This has been going on for a few years. So, Reddit, I'm open to your judgment. No a-holes here, just business as far as I'm aware. Let's see what some people have to say first, though. Not the a-hole. People can judge all they want and make up good or terrible stories about people they see. It is human. And you don't have to tell those people anything about your life to disabuse them of their notions about you. They are not entitled to that. You bought your items fair, just like any other consumer. Counterpoint, Yatta, a lie by omission is still a lie. You never corrected her. You played along and let her assume you were a good person. You had ample opportunity to speak up, so it's no surprise she thinks you're an a-hole. Ta for letting her believe a lie that she told herself, but I really think you should evaluate how you should feel about using items that people donated to the less fortunate to turn around a profit for yourself. I won't say you're the a-hole, but I do think that you're being selfish. I understand your point of view, but it's how I pay my bills. I don't find it selfish to resell their items because they could do the same. Thank you for your opinion. It's all good. Not the a-hole. Once you purchase the item, it's yours, and it's no one else's business what you do with it. Not the a-hole. You never denied nor confirmed anything. She would have found out eventually, and it's her fault for telling herself the lie. And as you said, if they receive things for free and sell for profit, doesn't matter that you're reselling the resold goods. Not the a-hole. I also upcycle thrift store finds, from clothes to furniture. I get an item for the price they deem reasonable, I put a lot of time and money into making it unique, and then resell it. I do have to say, Teacher Girl 11's comment about mentioning that thrift stores are more so for people less fortunate does pull me towards the yatta side of things, as items that could normally have been bought and afforded by someone less fortunate are now being taken by someone who easily can afford it, and sell it purely for financial gain. As sure, they argue this is how they pay their bills, that merely explains why they're doing it. It doesn't excuse the morality of it. But still, I also don't think they're completely an a-hole for doing this. I think if they have a skill in turning trash to treasure, good on them. But if they're going as far as reaping items that someone right there in front of them was also desperately needing to afford, then okay, yeah, then they'd be an a-hole. Hello, that does us for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking at my face right now, that means you liked this video. So all I appreciate is if you would like the video back. Because if you like it, then I'll like you for liking the video, and then I can make more stuff for you to like that you can like. And it'll be just a constant cycle of never-ending pain and suffering. So don't do it alone. Suffer with me. I don't know where I was going with that. If you haven't subscribed but you want to see some more content, then please, what are you waiting for? Click that notification bell so you're always updated on the latest content. And hey, why not check out some other videos while you're here? But anyway, that does me for today. Thank you again for watching. You're an amazing person. I love rambling at you, and I look forward to you staring at me beyond the abyss again soon. I can't close well. Don't at me, okay? My name's been Jack. Bye-bye. You're amazing. See ya!